Imagine your watch starts a countdown, and no one knows what happens when it hits 0. In this chilling tale of tech and terror, Mateo finds out too late that some watches count down to the end. You're listening to 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds, the Countdown Watch. Turn off the lights. Plug in your headphones. And whatever you do, don't look at the time. Mateo Harmon first noticed the countdown on a Tuesday morning. He was standing in line at Revive Coffee, idly scrolling through emails on his phone, when his smartwatch buzzed with a soft vibration. Expecting a calendar reminder or a message from his boss, he glanced down, only to see something unfamiliar. Stark white digits glowed against the black screen. 168 hours, 0 minute, 0 second. Mateo tapped the screen. Nothing. He swiped left, then right. The numbers didn't budge. Frowning, he pressed the side button, which usually brought up his apps. The screen blinked, then returned to its usual display, 8:27 a.m. Weird, probably a glitch. Shrugging it off, he stepped forward and ordered his usual medium Americano. By noon, he'd nearly forgotten the strange alert. Deep in a project meeting, he barely noticed when his watch buzzed again. This time, the screen read, 164 hours, 23 minutes, 17 seconds. The numbers were counting down. Mateo stared. From what? To what? He couldn't remember setting a timer, certainly not one that would end in nearly a week. He opened the timer app. Nothing was running. 10 seconds later, the screen reverted to the normal watch face. Mateo, the quarterly reports? His manager, Diane, was looking at him with raised eyebrows. He looked up quickly. Sorry, he said, lowering his wrist. I'll have them to you by end of day. That evening, Mateo sat at his kitchen table, laptop open, fingers flying across the keyboard as he searched for answers. He combed through forums, tech blogs, and the official UniverseFit Pro support site, nothing but standard troubleshooting advice and promotional fluff. At exactly 9 p.m., the notification returned. 156 hours, 33 minutes, 47 seconds. This time he snapped a photo with his phone. Evidence. Proof he wasn't imagining it. He called over to his roommate. Trevor, look at this. But by the time Trevor leaned in, the watch face had already reverted to its usual display. Trevor squinted. Okay. Am I supposed to be impressed by the time? It was a countdown. Mateo muttered. It showed up again. Keeps changing. Trevor reached for another slice of pizza. Maybe it's just counting down to an update? Tech companies do weird stuff like that sometimes. Maybe, Mateo said slowly. But unease gnawed at the edge of his thoughts. Still, why not just say update in 6 days, or whatever? Why a cryptic timer? Trevor shrugged. Marketing gimmick? Trying to be mysterious? You know how these companies are. If it's bothering you that much, just take it off. I can't, Mateo snapped, sharper than he meant to. I'm on day 293 of a 300-day step challenge. 10,000 steps every single day. If I take it off now, I lose everything. Trevor raised an eyebrow. Don't you have a backup? I ordered one earlier today after this started, but it won't be here for 3 more days. I'm not throwing away 10 months of work over some weird glitch. Man, your fitness obsession is getting out of hand. It's not an obsession, Mateo shot back. I made a commitment. And it's not just personal. I linked this watch to Fit Go 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 for the workplace challenge. Our team is counting on me. Right. Corporate step supremacy. Trevor smirked and took a bite. Just don't come crying to me when your watch becomes self-aware and tries to take over the world. Mateo didn't respond. He just stared at the device for a moment before finally taking it off and placing it face down on the nightstand. He climbed into bed. The glow of the countdown still burned into the back of his mind. Wednesday morning, the countdown read 146 hours, 34 minutes, 3 seconds. During his lunch break, Mateo finally caved and called customer support. He sat in the break room, earbuds in, half-eaten sandwich forgotten on the table. A cheerful voice answered. Universe Fit Support. This is Melissa speaking. How can I help you today? Hi, yeah, Mateo began. I'm getting this weird countdown notification on my Universe Fit Pro. It shows up every few hours and I can't get rid of it. A countdown? Melissa echoed, her voice warm with a soft southern lilt. Sir, the Universe Fit Pro doesn't have any countdown feature, unless you set a timer yourself. I didn't, Mateo said firmly. And I've checked the timer app. There's nothing running. It just pops up, stays for 10 seconds, then disappears. Okay, let me check if there are any scheduled updates that could explain it. He listened to the rhythmic tapping of her keyboard. No updates on our end, she said after a moment. Have you tried restarting the device? Twice. Well, a factory reset might be your best option. Mateo hesitated. If I do that, will I lose my step data? I'm on day 294 of a 300-day challenge. We can back up your data to the cloud before you reset, Melissa assured him. Your streak should stay intact. Reluctantly, Mateo agreed. After backing up the data, he reset the watch during his afternoon coffee break, sitting in a quiet corner booth of the cafe with his phone and smartwatch side by side. For 6 whole hours, the device behaved perfectly. Then, at 8:14 p.m., the screen flickered once. A familiar pulse of white digits emerged. 133 hours, 3 minutes, 21 seconds. 5.5 days left. To what? Thursday. Mateo decided to ignore the countdown. Despite the unsettling notifications, something about the mystery hooked him. Was it a glitch? A hidden feature? Some bizarre marketing stunt? The more he tried not to think about it, the more it tugged at the corners of his mind. Still, he stuck to his usual routine. A morning run, a quick shower, a granola bar on the way out. 9 hours at his marketing job. Take-out dinner in front of the TV. 4 times that day, the notification appeared. He saw it, he refused to react. But just before bed, he glanced at his watch one last time. 108 hours, 13 minutes, 7 seconds. The numbers glowed briefly, then vanished. A thought had been forming in the background since Tuesday morning. Subtle at first, almost invisible. But now it clicked. He did the math. If the timer kept its current pace, it would hit 0 at 8:27 a.m. next Tuesday. The precision of it unsettled him. Out of curiosity, he pulled up his calendar. Nothing scheduled. No appointments, no meetings, no birthdays. He scanned his email, no deadlines, no reminders, nothing out of the ordinary. He even looked up astronomical events. Eclipses, meteor showers. Planetary alignments? Nothing. And then, just before drifting off, the thought came, uninvited and sharp. What if it's counting down to my death? He laughed, a low, nervous sound in the dark. Ridiculous. Still, sleep didn't come easily that night. But he couldn't bring himself to take the watch off, not when he was so close to day 300. Just a few more days, he told himself. Then the new watch would arrive. He could retire this one, once and for all. Friday passed without incident. Other than the countdown. It still appeared every few hours, but now, Mateo noticed, it lingered. Each time, the digits stayed on the screen a little longer. 10 seconds. Then 20. By evening, it was nearly a full minute. At the gym after work, Miguel caught him glancing at the display again. Hot date this weekend? Miguel asked, wiping sweat from his forehead between sets. No, Mateo said, not looking up. My watch is just acting weird. Weird how? He hesitated. Saying it out loud would make it real and ridiculous. Just random notifications. Miguel shrugged. Throw it away. Get a new one. That's what I'd do. Not until the new one comes. That night, the notification stayed on screen for a full minute. 85 hours, 22 minutes, and 33 seconds. His new watch still hadn't arrived. Desperate to fix the problem, Mateo tried everything he could think of. By the time he finally went to bed, he had performed another factory reset, removed and reinserted the battery, left it in the freezer for an hour, contacted the manufacturer, again posted about the issue on 3 different tech forums. Nothing worked. The countdown continued, steady and silent, ticking its way toward 0. On Saturday morning, Mateo woke to find the watch vibrating continuously on his nightstand. The screen flashed again and again with the countdown. 78 hours, 18 minutes, and 9 seconds. He picked it up. The vibration stopped. The watch returned to normal. Now he was getting obsessed. Determined to fix it once and for all, he brought it to a local electronics repair shop. The technician, an older man named Raj, with thick glasses and steady hands, examined the device carefully. I've never seen anything like this, Raj admitted after running several diagnostic tests. The countdown doesn't appear to be part of the watch's programming. It's like it's coming from elsewhere and displaying on your device. Mateo frowned. What do you mean, coming from elsewhere? Raj shrugged. Like a remote signal. But that's not possible with this model. It doesn't have the capability to receive external commands like this. Can you stop it? I can try reflashing the firmware, Raj offered. An hour later, he handed the watch back with an apologetic expression. The new firmware lasted exactly 7 minutes before the countdown returned. Mateo paid for the attempt and left the shop feeling more unsettled than before. Trying to shake the tension, he called his sister Elaine and arranged to meet her for lunch downtown. The restaurant was crowded, but they managed to find a small table by the window. Mateo deliberately placed the watch in his pocket. You seem distracted, Elaine said halfway through their salads. Work stuff, Mateo lied. Big project coming up. Must be important if you're thinking about it on a Saturday, she said. He nodded, then shifted the conversation. How are the kids? Elaine launched into a story about her daughter's soccer tournament. Mateo tried to focus, but halfway through he felt the watch vibrating in his pocket. Without thinking, he pulled it out. 68 hours, 4 minutes, and 52 seconds. What's that? Elaine asked, catching the look on his face. For some reason, Mateo didn't want to tell her the truth. Just a deadline, he said, slipping the watch back into his pocket. For your big project? Yeah, he said quietly, picking at his salad. For my big project. By Sunday, the countdown began updating hourly. 48 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds, to 47 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds, then to 46 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds. In the past 5 days, Mateo had checked the math again and again, but the result never changed. The countdown would reach 0 at exactly 8:27 a.m. on Tuesday. His curiosity about what would happen at 0 only grew. He tried leaving the watch at home while he ran to get groceries. But when he returned, he found the device vibrating so violently it had moved several inches across the dresser. The screen flashed the countdown in red instead of white. Even more disturbing, when he picked it up and strapped it back on, the vibration stopped instantly. At the next hourly update, the numbers returned to their usual white. That night, he dreamed of clocks and watches with faces that twisted into screams as their hands spun backward. 36 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds. The watch vibrated every hour on the hour. Now the countdown stayed lit on the screen almost constantly, only flicking back to the regular watch face for a few brief seconds, every 15 minutes. Mateo barely slept. When he did drift off, it was only for moments, and always back into that same nightmare of timepieces contorting into agony. On Monday morning, he called in sick. He hadn't slept. The hourly alerts had become inescapable. The watch now vibrated 5 minutes before every hour, and the countdown displayed in a steadily growing font. Sitting at his kitchen table, Mateo stared at the device strapped to his wrist. 26 hours, 12 minutes, and 27 seconds. On impulse, he took the watch off and set it on the table. Then he went to the hall closet and pulled out his toolbox. A moment later, he returned, hammer in hand. Just as he raised it, the front door opened. Trevor walked in. "Whoa!" Trevor exclaimed. "What are you doing?" "This thing is driving me crazy," Mateo said, the hammer still poised above the watch. "That's a $300 watch," Trevor pointed out. "Maybe try selling it instead of smashing it?" Mateo hesitated. Slowly, he lowered the hammer. "Yeah, you're right." He set it down. But then, the watch began to vibrate on the table. Its screen lit up. 26 hours, 7 minutes, and 27 seconds. This time, the numbers were blood red, pulsing like a heartbeat. Trevor leaned in. "What the hell?" "Still the same countdown?" "I thought it was white before." Mateo nodded and gave him a quick rundown of everything that had happened. "And customer support couldn't help?" Trevor asked. "They suggested a factory reset didn't work." Trevor cautiously picked up the watch. The instant it left the table, the vibration intensified, buzzing so hard he nearly dropped it. "Jesus, it's like it's alive." "It stops when I wear it," Mateo muttered. Trevor passed it back. Mateo reluctantly strapped it on, and just like before, the vibration stopped the moment it touched his skin. "This is some freaky shit," Trevor said, rubbing his arms. "Maybe take it to another repair shop. Or better yet, just toss it." Mateo shook his head. "I tried leaving it at home yesterday. It got worse." "Didn't you order a new watch?" "It got delayed. Transportation issue, apparently." Trevor frowned. "Well, what happens when it hits 0? Mateo looked down at the pulsing numbers. "That's what I'm curious about." 23 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds. Less than 1 day left. By Monday afternoon, the countdown had become more intrusive. It no longer disappeared from the screen at all, and the numbers had grown to fill the entire display. 17 hours, 42 minutes, and 27 seconds. Mateo sat in a coffee shop, staring at the device. A woman at the next table noticed his intense focus. "Cool watch," she said. "Is that a limited edition?" "I've never seen one with that kind of display." "Is it for a product launch or something?" "Something like that," he mumbled, not looking up. When he got home, Trevor was waiting for him, looking grim. "I called a buddy who works at UniverseFit," Trevor said. "Told him what's been happening with your watch. He said there have been a few similar reports this month." Mateo's heart skipped. What happened to those people? Trevor hesitated. His expression darkened. "That's the weird part. They don't know. The complaints just stopped. The customers never followed up." "They never followed up," Mateo echoed, "or they couldn't follow up." Trevor didn't answer. That evening, Mateo sat on the edge of his bed. He decided to sleep early. He was too tired to stay awake, too anxious to think clearly anymore. The clock on his nightstand read 8:27 p.m. The watch displayed 12 hours, 0 minutes, and 35 seconds. Almost exactly 12 hours left. He had tried everything. Factory resets, leaving it behind, ignoring it, asking for help. Now, he just wanted it to be over, to finally find out what was waiting for him at 8:27 a.m. on Tuesday. The end of the universe, or his own death. He didn't care anymore. His phone rang, making him jump. Unknown number. "Hello," Mateo answered cautiously. "Is this Mateo Harmon?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes, who's this?" "My name is Nora Chen." "You don't know me, but I saw your post on TikTok about your Universe Fit Pro countdown." Mateo sat upright. "You've experienced this too?" "No," Nora said, "but my brother did." His watch started counting down 3 weeks ago. "What happened when it reached 0? Mateo asked, throat suddenly dry. There was a long pause on the line. "He disappeared." "What do you mean, disappeared?" "Exactly what I said," Nora replied, her voice tight with emotion. "The countdown on his watch hit 0 at 3:16 a.m. on a Thursday. By the time I woke up at 7, he was gone. His car was still in the driveway. His wallet and phone were on his nightstand. The front door was locked from the inside. But David was just gone." Mateo's heart pounded. "Did you tell the police?" "Of course," Nora said. "They found nothing. No signs of struggle. No evidence of foul play. Just a missing person and a dead smartwatch on his bedroom floor." "Dead?" "The battery was completely drained. Won't charge anymore." Mateo looked at the red numbers on his watch. 11 hours, 39 minutes, and 12 seconds. "Why are you calling me?" he asked. "Because you're only the third person I've found who's posted about this issue," Nora said. The first was David. The second was a woman named Rebecca Torres from Miami. She disappeared 12 days ago, right when her countdown hit 0. The floor seemed to tilt under Mateo. "What's happening to these people?" "I don't know," Nora admitted, "but I've been researching. There might be a way to stop it." Mateo gripped the phone tighter. "How?" David's countdown started after he installed a third-party app called HealthSync+++. "Did you install anything similar?" Mateo thought back. "Yes, actually, Fit Go Go Go." "Delete it," Nora said quickly. "Right now." Mateo pulled up the app management screen while keeping her on speaker. He scrolled until he found Fit Go 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 and hit uninstall. A warning flashed. "Uninstalling this app may result in data loss. Continue." "It's asking for confirmation," Mateo said. "Accept it," Nora urged. "Delete the app." He pressed yes. The uninstall bar crawled across the screen. Then stopped. A new message appeared. "Uninstall blocked by administrator. Please enter override code." "It won't let me delete it," Mateo said, panic rising. "That's what happened with David, too," Nora said grimly. "There's one more thing you can try." Mateo listened closely. "The watch in the app might be tied to your identity, personal data, location tracking, biometrics. If you want a shot at surviving this, go somewhere no one knows you. Don't bring your ID, credit cards, anything that links back to you. Be completely anonymous when the countdown hits 0. "You think that'll work?" "I don't know," she said, but David and Rebecca were both at home when their countdowns ended. Mateo glanced down at the watch again. 11 hours, 34 minutes, and 51 seconds. "I'll try," he said. "Thank you." "Call me after," Nora said quietly. "If you can." 11 hours, 27 minutes, and 41 seconds. Less than 12 hours left. Mateo emailed Diane, asking for another sick day. Then he packed a small bag, cash, snacks, toothbrush, an extra shirt. He left his wallet, ID, and phone on the kitchen counter. He scribbled a note for Trevor, gone, to deal with the watch situation. If I'm not back in 24 hours, call the police. And whatever you do, don't install any fitness apps. He grabbed the watch, planning to ditch it somewhere no one would ever find it. Still, something felt off. No phone, no watch. It was like a part of his body had gone missing. On the way out, he checked the mailbox. And there it was. The new watch. Perfect timing. He strapped it on, set it up, and made sure not to download a single app. He took a city bus to the outskirts, then another to a town 30 miles away, a place he'd never been, where no one knew his name. Somewhere forgettable. At a quiet stop lined with pine trees and cracked pavement, he stood up, reached into his bag, and flung the old watch into the woods. As it spun through the air, he caught one last glimpse of the glowing red dot. Then it was gone. By mid-afternoon, he was checking into a roadside motel under a fake name, paying in cash. The elderly clerk behind the desk squinted at Mateo's wrist. "That's some fancy countdown you got there." "Special occasion?" Mateo froze. He glanced at his watch. 12:17 a.m. No vibration. "Just a normal watch," he said quickly. "No countdowns." The man shrugged. "My old eyes." In the musty motel room, Mateo dropped his bag on the floor and sat on the bed. 12:35 a.m. 8 hours, maybe less. Would he be okay? Only now did Nora's words fully sink in. Had he even verified her story? No, he just believed her, panicked. Did what she told him to do. Scammers preyed on panic, maybe she had too. But she couldn't have known where to find him. And even if she lied, what had he really lost? A day, a little sleep. If she was right, though, she might have saved his life. Reassured, if not convinced, Mateo slipped off the watch and lay down to sleep. Mateo was awakened. The watch on the side table was vibrating violently. 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 43 seconds. The countdown was back. But he hadn't installed any fitness apps. He hadn't installed anything at all. Mateo stared at the red numbers, blinking, trying to think through the fog of sleep. Maybe it wasn't the app. Maybe it was the watch itself. Maybe he wasn't supposed to wear any watch. He got dressed quickly and stepped outside. It was early morning. The motel parking lot was mostly empty, quiet except for birdsong and the hum of distant traffic. He walked. The town was small, just a single main street, a diner, a few shuttered shops. Inside the diner, a handful of locals nursed their coffees. He passed them and stepped into the square beside it, where an old stone fountain trickled water into a shallow pool. He stood there for a moment, then took the watch off. It buzzed furiously in his hand. The screen blinked. 0 hours, 58 minutes, and 45 seconds. Mateo dropped it into the fountain. The water churned. The watch spun in circles, vibrating with what felt like rage. Tiny waves splashed the rim. Then, the screen went black. Just like that, it was over. Mateo stood still, watching the ripples fade. Then he let out a long, shuddering breath. Whatever this thing was, it was dead now. He turned and walked into the diner. Coffee, donut, the best he'd ever tasted. The waitress, a tired-looking woman with faded blonde hair, refilled his mug and gave him a smile. "Never seen you around new in town?" "Just passing through," Mateo said. "Leaving today." She nodded toward the window. "Next bus to the city's at 8:30. Plenty of time," Mateo wondered. The streets were still. The town felt like a dream now, too quiet, too clean. Eventually he found himself near the town center. There was the bus station. And the town hall. Then he saw it, a large LED clock mounted above City Hall. 0 hours, 17 minutes, and 41 seconds. A red countdown. Mateo stood frozen. Then he walked. No destination, just movement. A desperate attempt to outpace the inevitable. The wind picked up, carrying whispers that almost formed words. The streets twisted subtly. Buildings shifted when he wasn't looking directly at them. 0 hours, 12 minutes, and 27 seconds. 12 minutes, Mateo ran. At the end of the street stood a small park and a white gazebo. He sprinted toward it. 0 hours, 5 minutes, and 0 seconds. He climbed the 3 steps to the platform. From here, the countdown above the town center was still visible. As he stepped beneath the gazebo's roof, the wind stopped. The air thickened, slow and heavy like water. Moving took effort. 0 hours, 3 minutes, and 0 seconds. An eerie calm. In the distance, the town warped, buildings bending like origami. But in the gazebo, all was still. 0 hours, 2 minutes, and 0 seconds. He thought of Nora's brother, of Rebecca Torres from Miami. Had they felt this same calm? 0 hours, 1 minute, and 0 seconds. Mateo closed his eyes, opened them again. It wasn't the app, not the watch. Maybe it was time itself. But there was no way to tell Nora now. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Mateo took a deep breath. Whatever was coming, he would face it. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 10 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 9 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 8 seconds. The air around the gazebo shimmered like heat waves. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 3 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 2 seconds. 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 1 second. His last thought, why me? 0 hours, 0 minutes, and 0 seconds. The clock went black. For one suspended moment, nothing. Then the world folded inward. The gazebo, the town, all compressed into a single point of light, with Mateo at its center. And then, nothing. Detective Laura Mercer stood in the empty motel room, notepad in hand. And you say the room was paid for in cash? No ID provided? The motel owner, an elderly man with tired eyes, nodded. Seemed normal enough. Quiet. Said he was just passing through. But he left all his things behind? Laura asked, nodding toward the small bag left on the bed. Looks like it. Maid found the door open, TV on static. Weird part? That TV hasn't worked in months. Laura frowned. Any security footage? Just one camera, at the office. The grainy footage showed Mateo checking in, then leaving the motel. He never came back. A thorough search turned up nothing. No trace, no leads. 3 days later, a package arrived at the precinct. Addressed to Detective Laura Mercer. Inside, a dead Universe Fit Pro smartwatch and a handwritten note. If the countdown starts, run. NC. Laura rolled her eyes. Probably a prank. But that evening, as she gathered her things to leave, she noticed something. The watch on her desk was glowing. 168 hours, 0 minute, 0 second. She was sure the battery had been dead. Now the digits were ticking down. 167 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. The watch is silent. The screen is black. But for Detective Mercer, the countdown has just begun. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more original horror tales every week. Got a story of your own? A strange encounter? A nightmare that won't go away? Drop it in the comments. We're always listening. Until next time, watch the time. And don't let it run out.